All right. Let's dive deep into stress today. You've
Yeah.
given me a ton of research on this,
Lots to talk about.
and it's going to be pretty amazing, I think, to really break it down.
Absolutely.
You know how it affects our brains and bodies?
Yeah.
What we can do about it?
Mm.
I mean, we've got articles, studies,
Yeah, we've got the whole shebang.
even some personal stories in here.
Really interesting stuff.
Yeah, so it'll be fun.
It's relevant to pretty much everyone, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, we all know stress exists.
Yeah,
We've all felt it.
for sure.
Deadlines, presentations, that feeling when you can't find your keys.
Oh, yeah.
But did you know that chronic stress,
Mm,
like the kind that really sticks around,
yeah.
can actually shrink your brain?
It's true.
That's kind of terrifying.
It really is. It's
Yeah.
not just about feeling a little frazzled, you know?
Right.
It can actually have a real impact on our brain
Wow.
structure and function,
Okay.
like slowly losing processing power, which can affect everything.
From memory to decision making.
So let's back up a bit.
Okay.
What exactly is stress?
Well, in a scientific sense,
Yeah.
stress is your body's reaction to any kind of demand or challenge.
Okay.
Could be physical, like an injury, or
Yeah.
something emotional, like a big presentation at work.
Okay, so like that feeling of butterflies in your stomach before you give a speech,
Yeah,
that's stress.
exactly. That's your body releasing hormones like adrenaline and cortisol.
Oh, okay.
It's prepping you to either fight the threat or run away.
Right.
Classic fight or flight response.
So it's a good thing. I mean, sometimes a little adrenaline rush is helpful, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The stress response is essential for survival.
Okay.
The problem is when it becomes chronic,
Okay.
if you're constantly under pressure, your body stays in this heightened state, and that's when things start to go haywire.
So that's where the brain shrinkage comes in.
That's one of the potential consequences.
Wow.
There are 3 key areas of the brain that are particularly vulnerable to chronic stress: the hippocampus, the amygdala, and the prefrontal cortex.
Okay, let's break those down.
Sure.
What does each one do?
Hmm.
And how does stress mess with them?
Well, the hippocampus is like your brain's memory center.
Okay.
It's responsible for forming new memories,
Hmm.
helping you learn new things.
Yeah.
But chronic stress can actually cause it to shrink,
Really?
which is why you might feel forgetful or have trouble concentrating when you're stressed out.
So that's why I can never remember where I put my phone when I'm running late.
Yeah, exactly.
My poor hippocampus.
And then there's the amygdala,
Wow.
which is involved in processing emotions, particularly fear and anxiety.
Right.
Chronic stress puts the amygdala on high alert.
Yeah.
Makes you more reactive to even small stressors.
So that feeling of being on edge,
Yeah.
constantly worried, that's my overactive amygdala.
You got it.
Okay.
And finally, we have the prefrontal cortex,
Okay.
which is kind of the executive center of your brain. It's responsible for decision-making, planning, and impulse control. But when you're chronically stressed, the prefrontal cortex weakens,
Huh.
making it harder to focus, make sound judgments, or resist those tempting but not so healthy impulses.
So basically, chronic stress throws our brains into a tailspin.
Yeah, it can definitely disrupt the delicate balance in our brain chemistry and function.
Wow.
And it's not just our brains that suffer.
Right.
Chronic stress has a ripple effect throughout the entire body.
So let's talk about that.
Okay.
The research mentions some pretty serious physical impacts.
Yeah, so remember that flood of hormones we talked about?
Yeah.
Those are designed for short bursts, not constant surges.
Okay.
Over time, they can wreak havoc on your cardiovascular system, increasing your risk of heart disease and stroke. It's like your heart is running a marathon every day,
That makes my chest hurt just thinking about it.
and it doesn't stop there.
Oh, no.
Chronic stress can also mess with your digestive system,
Okay.
leading to all sorts of problems.
Like what?
Stomach aches, irritable bowel syndrome, even changes in your appetite and metabolism.
So that explains why I either overeat or forget to eat entirely when I'm stressed.
Exactly. Your body's just not functioning optimally under
Yeah.
that kind of pressure.
Yeah.
And then there's your immune system
Wait, stress affects our immunity.
in a big way.
Why?
A short burst of stress can actually boost your immune response.
Really?
But chronic stress weakens it, leaving you more vulnerable to colds, flu, and other infections.
So it's like your body is so busy fighting the stress that it forgets to fight off the germs.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay.
And let's not forget about muscle tension.
Oh, yeah.
When we're stressed, our muscles tense up,
Right.
prepare us to fight or flee.
Yeah.
But if we're constantly tense, we can end up with headaches, back pain,
Yeah.
even chronic pain conditions.
Wow. So it's a full body assault.
It really is.
This is definitely not just in our heads.
Nope.
But before we get too doom and gloom, the research also talks about ways to fight back, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, good.
The good news is you are not powerless against stress.
Okay.
There are many things you can do to manage it effectively and protect your health and well-being.
Okay, I definitely need to hear this.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
All right. It all starts with understanding those stress hormones we were talking about, cortisol and adrenaline.
Like, those guys.
Yeah.
They sound like the villains in this story.
Well, they're not inherently bad.
Okay.
They're actually essential for survival.
Right.
But when they're constantly pumping through your system, they can cause a lot of wear and tear.
So what can we do? How do we dial down these stress hormones and protect ourselves from their long-term effects?
The good news is we've got a whole arsenal of stress-busting techniques at our disposal.
Okay.
They fall into 3 main categories:
Okay.
lifestyle changes, mindfulness practices, and social connection.
Okay, let's break those down.
Sure.
What kind of lifestyle changes are we talking about?
Well, the basics are incredibly powerful. Regular exercise, a balanced diet, and enough sleep.
Right, the holy trinity of health.
Exactly.
But I'm guessing there's more to it than just eat your veggies and go to bed early.
You're right.
Okay.
It's about being intentional and consistent.
Okay.
When it comes to exercise, aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity activity most days of the week.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to be strenuous.
Right.
A brisk walk, a bike ride, a dance class, anything that gets your heart rate up and your body moving.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's about finding something you enjoy,
exactly.
not forcing yourself to do something you dread.
Yeah, and when it comes to diet, focus on whole, unprocessed foods,
Okay.
like fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein.
Gotcha.
And you want to limit processed foods, sugary drinks, and unhealthy fats,
Okay.
which can actually exacerbate stress and inflammation in the body.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
What about sleep? I know I'm definitely more prone to stress when I'm sleep deprived.
Sleep is crucial for allowing your body and mind to repair and recharge.
Yeah.
Most adults need around 7-8 hours of quality sleep per night.
Okay.
So, create a relaxing bedtime routine, avoid caffeine and alcohol before bed.
Right.
Make sure your bedroom is dark, quiet, and cool.
I've been trying to be more mindful of my sleep hygiene lately.
Good.
It's amazing how much of a difference it makes.
It really does.
Yeah.
And speaking of mindfulness,
Yeah.
that's our second category of stress-busting techniques.
Okay.
Mindfulness practices help us focus on the present moment,
Mhm.
cultivate a sense of awareness and acceptance.
We're talking about things like meditation and yoga.
Exactly.
Okay.
Meditation has been shown to reduce activity in the amygdala,
Right.
which can help calm your stress response.
Okay.
And yoga combines physical postures with deep breathing and mindfulness,
Right.
promoting relaxation and flexibility.
I've dabbled in both meditation and yoga,
Cool.
and I always feel so much calmer afterward. But I'll admit, finding the time to fit them in can be a challenge.
Yeah, even a few minutes a day can make a difference. You can try a guided meditation app, or simply take a few moments to focus on your breath.
Yeah.
Even something as simple as taking a few deep breaths when you're feeling overwhelmed can help shift you out of that fight or flight mode.
Deep breaths.
Yeah,
I can definitely manage that.
good.
Okay. What about that third category?
Yeah.
Social connection.
Well, human beings are social creatures.
Yeah.
We're wired for connection.
Right.
And strong social relationships provide us with emotional support,
Okay.
a sense of belonging, and a buffer against stress.
So spending time with friends and loved ones is actually good for our health.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Talking to someone you trust, whether it's a friend, family member, or therapist, can help you process your emotions,
Right.
gain perspective, and feel less alone in your struggles. Yeah.
I've definitely found that just venting to a friend about a stressful situation can make me feel so much better.
It's like sharing the burden lightens the load.
Yeah.
And don't forget about laughter.
Oh, yeah.
Laughter releases endorphins,
Quite.
which have mood-boosting and pain-relieving effects.
It's like instant stress relief.
Exactly.
I love a good laugh.
Me too.
It's like medicine for the soul.
So make time for activities that bring you joy
Okay.
and connect you with people who make you laugh.
That's great advice.
Yeah,
It's so easy to get caught up in the seriousness of stress
I know.
and forget to prioritize joy and connection.
It happens to the best of us.
Okay.
And remember, it's not about being perfect.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you
Yeah.
and incorporating those stress-busting techniques into your daily life in a way that feels sustainable.
So it's not about overhauling your entire life overnight.
No.
It's about making small, gradual changes.
Exactly. Start with something small and manageable and build from there. Maybe you try a 5-minute meditation each morning, or commit to going for a walk 3 times a week,
Right.
or schedule a regular phone call with a friend.
Yeah.
Every little bit helps.
This is all starting to feel a lot less overwhelming.
Good.
Yeah, I'm starting to see how we can actually take control of our stress
That's the key.
instead of letting it control us.
And remember, seeking professional help is always an option if you're struggling to manage stress on your own.
Okay.
Therapists and counselors can provide you with support, guidance,
Right.
and evidence-based techniques to help you cope.
It's good to remember that we don't have to go it alone.
You don't.
Yeah, there's no shame in asking for help.
Not at all. Taking care of your mental health is just as important as taking care of your physical health.
You know, we've been talking a lot about how chronic stress can shrink the hippocampus,
We have.
but I read in one of these research articles that certain activities can actually help it grow.
Oh, yeah.
Is that true?
That's right.
Really?
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Our brains are incredibly adaptable.
Mhm.
They have this incredible ability to change and rewire themselves throughout our lives.
Wow.
A concept called neuroplasticity.
Okay.
And research has shown that certain activities can actually stimulate the growth of new brain cells in the hippocampus.
So we could actually reverse some of the damage caused by stress.
To a certain extent, yes.
Wow.
Engaging in activities that challenge your brain and require you to learn new things can actually increase the volume of gray matter in the hippocampus.
But what kind of activities are we talking about?
Things like learning a new language, playing a musical instrument,
Oh, wow.
or even just engaging in regular aerobic exercise have been shown to have positive effects on hippocampal volume.
Wait, so learning to play the guitar could make my brain bigger?
Well, not literally bigger,
Uh,
but it can increase the density of neurons in the hippocampus,
okay.
which is a good thing.
That's incredible. I'm
Uh-huh.
definitely feeling inspired to pick up a new hobby now.
It's never too late to learn something new and challenge your brain.
That's true.
And it's a reminder that we have more power than we realize to shape our brain health and protect ourselves from the negative effects of stress.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've talked about the science of stress,
Right.
its impact on our brains and bodies,
Yeah.
and a whole range of strategies for managing it effectively.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the biggest takeaway for me is this idea of neuroplasticity,
Yeah.
that our brains are not static, that they can change and grow throughout our lives.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
And it's a message of hope and empowerment.
Right.
It means that even if we've been through periods of chronic stress,
Yeah.
we can still take steps to improve our brain health and resilience.
That's so reassuring.
Yeah.
But before we wrap things up,
Sure.
I'm curious to know, out of all the information we've discussed today, what's the one piece of advice you would give to someone who's feeling overwhelmed by stress right now?
That's a great question. I would say start by focusing on your breath. Deep breathing is one of the simplest yet most powerful tools we have for calming our nervous systems and shifting out of that fight or flight mode.
Right.
Take a few minutes each day to simply sit or lie down in a comfortable position, close your eyes, and focus on the sensation of your breath.
Okay.
Notice the rise and fall of your chest and abdomen as you inhale and exhale.
Yeah.
And if your mind starts to wander gently, guide it back to your breath.
It sounds so simple, but I can see how powerful that could be.
It is.
It's like hitting the pause button on stress.
Exactly. And from that place of calm, we can start to make more mindful choices about how we manage our stress and live our lives.
This has been such an insightful deep dive into the world of stress.
It has.
I feel like I've learned so much.
Me too.
Not just about the science of stress,
Yeah.
but also about the incredible resilience of the human brain and the power we have to take control of our well-being.
It's amazing what we can do when we understand how our minds and bodies work.
Yeah, it really is amazing how something as simple as breathing can have such a big impact on our stress levels.
Oh, it really is. It's like having a built-in reset button.
Yeah.
And, the more we practice mindfulness techniques like deep breathing,
Mm-hmm.
the better we become at recognizing those early signs of stress
Right.
and intervening before it spirals out of control.
So it's about building that self-awareness
Yeah.
and developing a toolbox of strategies we can use
Absolutely.
when stress inevitably creeps in.
Exactly. And remember, it's a journey, not a destination.
Right.
There will be days when you feel more stressed than others.
Oh, for sure.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
The key is to be kind to yourself, to
Yeah.
acknowledge your feelings,
Mm-hmm.
and to keep coming back to those practices that help you find your center.
I love that self-compassion is so important.
It is.
especially when we're dealing with stress.
Yeah.
We tend to be so hard on ourselves,
I know.
which just adds to the burden.
Absolutely. It's about treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a close friend.
You know, listening to all this has really shifted my perspective on stress.
Oh, yeah.
I used to see it as this enemy that I needed to conquer. But now I'm starting to see it as a natural part of life,
Yeah.
a signal that something needs attention, an opportunity for growth.
That's a wonderful insight.
Yeah.
Stress can actually be a catalyst for positive change.
Okay.
It can motivate us to learn new skills, set healthy boundaries, and prioritize our well-being.
So instead of fearing stress,
Right.
we can learn to work with it,
Exactly.
use it as fuel for positive transformation.
Exactly.
All right.
And remember, you have the power to choose how you respond to stress.
Right.
You can choose to let it overwhelm you, or you can choose to use it as an opportunity to learn, grow, and become a more resilient version of yourself.
Well, I think we've given our listener a lot to think about today.
I think so too.
We've explored the intricate workings of stress, delved into its profound effects on our brains and bodies,
Yeah.
and uncovered a treasure trove of strategies for not only managing stress, but actually using it to our advantage.
It's been a great conversation.
And perhaps most importantly, we've highlighted the extraordinary capacity of the human brain to adapt, heal, and thrive, even in the face of adversity.
It's truly remarkable.
To our listener, thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the multifaceted world of stress.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
We hope you've gained some valuable insights and practical tools to navigate the inevitable ups and downs of life with greater ease and resilience.
Absolutely.
Remember, you are not alone on this journey,
You're not.
and you have the power within you to create a life filled with purpose, joy, and well-being.
Here's to a calmer, more resilient, and empowered you.